Welcome to KXAN News Today. Manor ISD is holding a meeting tomorrow, or rather later on today, following the Decker Middle School incident. It was after a deadly stabbing at a high school there last month. Now, these meetings are opportunities only for the district's leaders to share current safety practices and address some questions that families may have. And that meeting is happening at 6:30 tonight.
Austin leaders are preparing for some cold weather. Today they're going to be talking about all the readiness steps they're taking during a press conference. There's going to be training for operational challenges as well.
And a fire is out at a home on Thunderbird Road near the Y at Oak Hill. Austin Fire responded to that fire around 10:30 last night. The person living inside the home did have minor injuries. AFD said the possible cause of that fire, downed trees. An Austin police officer is now facing a prison sentence after a judge convicted him of deadly conduct. Good morning, I'm Sally Hernandez.
And I'm Tom Miller. Christopher Taylor and another officer shot and killed Maris De Silva. It was at his downtown condo in 2019. The officers responded to a call saying De Silva had a knife to his neck while walking around. Taylor faces 2 years in prison. His attorneys fighting for probation.
And Taylor is not eligible for probation. De Silva's father addressing him directly during allocution yesterday.
I'm not rejoiced by the punishment given to you because I know how hard it is. But we have gone a lot of suffering and pain.
Police Chief Lisa Davis releasing a statement following that sentence. She did not share her thoughts on Taylor's actions, but called the situation, quote, a tragedy for the Austin community and the Austin Police Department, adding that under her leadership, the department will ensure that the sanctity of human life and officer safety and wellness are at the center of our training policies and procedures.
Going in depth on this, the other officer charged in De Silva's death has a hearing in February. According to online court records, Carl Chrysia is charged with murder. Prosecutors also originally charged Christopher Taylor with murder, but the DA's office dropped that charge.
First warning weather with meteorologist Rich Siegel.
A good Wednesday morning to you. We'll hear from Kristen a little later this morning. We'll tell you about the rain that is falling now. It continues to move from the southwest to the northeast, and some of this rain is actually reaching the ground. Yesterday, most of it did not. But this morning, with dew points a little higher than they were at this hour yesterday, we see a little bit of this rain reaching the ground. Most of our temperatures in the 50s. There are a couple in the 40s out in the hill country, 60 at Flatonia, Camp Mabry at 54, down to 49 at Mason. And these are those higher dew points. Yesterday, again, mostly 30s and 40s. This morning, mostly 40s and a few 50s in parts of Caldwell and Fayette counties. Coming up, we're going to talk about the rain for today. We've got two cold fronts coming and what they're going to do to our local weather, and the weekend is going to be, well, the week ends cold and the weekend starts cold, and we'll talk more about that coming up in just a little bit. Sally?
Okay, thank you. President-elect Donald Trump is considering naming Florida Governor Ron DeSantis as his pick for defense secretary. That's all according to the Wall Street Journal. NBC News reached out to the Trump administration, the team, to confirm, but we're waiting to hear back. It does come after Pete Hegseth met with senators ahead of what may be a challenging confirmation process. As many as 6 GOP senators are not comfortable supporting Hegseth's nomination. According to NBC News, a sexual assault allegation surfaced against him, as well as questions about his qualifications. He denied any wrongdoing and says the 2017 encounter was consensual. Police never arrested or charged him, but he did pay his accuser an undisclosed amount of money as part of a settlement agreement.
And Trump's pick to lead the Drug Enforcement Administration is stepping down. Chad Chronister posted on X yesterday saying, quote, as the gravity of this very important responsibility set in, I've concluded that I must respectfully withdraw from consideration. He is the second Trump pick to take his name out of the running. Former Representative Matt Gaetz dropped his bid to become Attorney General last month.
Mailers are popping up in mailboxes all over the city of Round Rock, and people are asking, how safe are they really now? They claim that the aggravated assaults with the firearm are up nearly 3,000% in the last decade. And in fact, crimes involving people have actually gone down over the last 3 years. And the most recent data from Round Rock Police released last year, it shows a drop of 200 reports from 2021. And the mailers go on to say mayor and the council are not fully supporting the police department. The city of Round Rock's recent fiscal year budget for 2025 allocated approximately $50 million directly to police. And the city says that it is a, quote, significant portion of the city's general fund.
And in Austin, HEB is opening its doors on the newly remodeled South Congress location. That's at 6 this morning. It's at the corner of Congress Avenue and Old Torf Street. This is the longest standing HEB in Austin, and it's doubled in size.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to KXAN News Today on this Wednesday, as we take a live look outside in Round Rock, courtesy of our Whittlesey landscape camera there. Rich is here with the latest look country forecast coming up in just the next few minutes. But let's talk about what you can get out and enjoy with Christmas time. Of course, it's the time of year that many of us start to put up our lights. There's an area, though, that you can walk and just take it all in. Many parks already have them up, and we're 3 weeks away from Christmas. Even saying that has me pause a little bit.
Yeah, I know. Got to get going on the shopping. One of these parks is the Walkway of Lights. This is out in Marble Falls, running through January 4th. And this is where we find our meteorologist, Kristen Curry, out there live this morning. Good morning, Kristen.
Good morning, guys. Yeah, here in Marble Falls at the Walkway of Lights, I am so excited because we are going to be giving you a preview of all of the fun that they have set up right here, right along the lake, Lake Marble Falls. And it is spectacular. If you have not been to the Walkway of Lights, they've got not only the holiday lights, but the Christmas sculptures. Santa's going to be here. They've got hot cocoa, the coffee, the snacks, all sorts of different things. But this is one of my personal favorites because the venue is just so perfect right here on the lake. If you're traveling down 281 right over the bridge, you can actually see all of those holiday lights reflected there off the water. It's a nice kind of casual stroll, if you will, not too strenuous. It is ADA approved as well, and it runs nightly all the way past the 1st, a few days past the 1st. So plenty of time to get on out here. Coming up later in the newscast, we're going to go inside, show you some of the highlights, some of the crowd favorites, if you will. But friends, I'm excited. Your holiday cheermeister reporting for duty this morning.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to KXAN News Today as we take another live look outside, this time at the Domain in North Austin. Rich has your forecast in just the next few minutes, and Kristen Curry on assignment. We'll tell you where in a little bit. Enjoying the outdoors is a big money maker here in Texas.
Yeah, it shouldn't come as a surprise. According to a new report from the Bureau of Economic Analysis, nationally, outdoor recreation spending amounted to more than $639 billion through last year. Nearly $56 billion of that money helped fuel the Texas economy. Only California and Florida accounted for more. Boating and fishing, the largest contributors, both here in Texas and across the country.
Now, Texas has many state parks for you to enjoy, of course, the natural beauty that we have of the Lone Star State this winter. And the most popular destination is Ray Roberts Lake State Park in North Texas. Over the past 5 years, it has welcomed an average of nearly 106,000 visitors every winter season. Central Texas's Enchanted Rock State Natural Park ranked 2, welcoming an average of nearly 75,000 visitors every winter. And then Brazos Bend State Park, about 45 miles from downtown Houston, brings an average of more than 67,000 visitors every winter. The first and last 2 I haven't been, but I've heard Enchanted Rock, definitely been to that one, and it's worth it, in my opinion.
And what's so nice too about Texas is that in the wintertime we can still go out and enjoy our state parks. Like you see these pictures coming in from Pennsylvania where they're just under feet of snow. No one's going out to the park in that kind of weather.
But today would be a good day. This afternoon, this morning will be a little wet. Today, the afternoon will be fine. The weekend is not looking all that great, right? Well, hold on. Let me rephrase that. We love the rain. So it's looking good for the weekend, just not for the park. All right, here we go with a look at the radar again. And again, this is all light stuff that continues to move from the southwest to the northeast. There's an area of low pressure along the Texas coast near Corpus Christi this morning that is delivering this little bit of rain that we're seeing right now. Not going to amount to much. Live look from the Austonian here downtown. We're looking at a mostly, well, an overcast sky for most of the area. Will stay cloudy through the morning. Some of you may see a little sunshine before the afternoon. Well, we thought that we wouldn't get too much rain measured yesterday, so these numbers don't really disappoint. Most of the area that did have rain did not measure at much more than 1 or 2/100ths of an inch, but we had a couple just under 1/10 of an inch. 800ths at both Camp Mabry and at a gauge 8 miles northwest of Elgin, and 500 at Bergstrom and also at Pflugerville. So here's the rain this morning. By noon, most of it is gone, and by the afternoon, we're looking at a lot of cloud cover. But again, there may be some sunshine for you folks in the hill country as we get to the late afternoon, and then a cloudy sky tomorrow morning. A little rain tomorrow afternoon. Here comes front number 1. It gets here late Thursday night into Friday morning. Could be a little bit of rain before it gets here, and then a better chance of rain as we head to Friday. And the rain just keeps coming Friday night into Saturday morning, Saturday night into Sunday morning. This is Sunday at 5:30. We're still seeing areas of rain across the area that should leave by early Monday morning, and then we're sunny on Monday afternoon, and another cold front will settle south of the area during the morning on Tuesday, and that leaves us with a little bit of a chill for Tuesday afternoon. You'll see that in the 7-day. All right, not much rain today. I don't even think we'll see double-digit rain totals. I think most of this will be just a few 100ths of an inch, but we will add to these numbers, especially over the weekend, and then by the time we get to Sunday night at 8 o'clock, we're looking again at about a 1/2 inch to an inch, and I think that's going to be better than those 1 and 2 inch rain totals that we were seeing on our graph yesterday. Temperatures will warm into mostly the low to mid 60s this afternoon with that rain, and then overnight low temperatures will be mild, all things considered, mostly upper 40s to low and mid 50s. Tomorrow afternoon, we're back in the low to mid 60s, but a few upper 50s possible in the hill country. Then that cold front comes in, and this is what it looks like Friday morning. 30s and 40s for everyone. Most of those 30s will be, again, across Milam, Williamson into Burnett, Lampasas, and San Saba counties. And yes, there may be a little bit of a light freeze in some of the area. And look at these highs for Friday afternoon. We're looking at 40s for the hill country, 50s from I-35 eastward. So a cold Friday and a cold Saturday. 65 for the high today with a 60% chance of rain this morning. 7-day forecast we'll look at, well, there we go again. We've got you twice on this forecast for today. Now the 7-day forecast, 64 tomorrow, 53 with a 40% chance of rain Friday, 60% chance of rain 54 Saturday, and a 50% chance of rain. We're back in the upper 60s with a southwest wind on Sunday. Tom?
Thank you, Rich. South Korea's president lifted a martial law declaration that he imposed. The president declared martial law to try and thwart what he called anti-state forces among his opponents. However, outraged lawmakers rejected that decree. And look at this. Protesters gathering outside parliament in the country's biggest political crisis in decades. The opposition party there now calling on the president to resign or face impeachment. Meantime, a bill aimed at stopping artificial intelligence revenge porn is headed to the U.S. House. The U.S. Senate unanimously passing this last night. The Take It Down Act criminalizes the publication of fake explicit images and requires websites to remove them. Texas Senator Ted Cruz and Democratic Senator Amy Klobuchar introduced that bill, and it has received widespread support from victim advocacy groups, law enforcement, and tech industry leaders. And some lawmakers are working to make a life-saving tool legal here in Texas.
Yes, fentanyl testing strips, which cost just a few dollars, can help detect the presence of the dangerous drug and other less potent drugs. Last session, Texas Governor Greg Abbott said that he supported the decriminalization of those strips. A bill to do it widely passed the House by a margin of 143 votes to 2, but that bill getting stuck in the Senate, never making it over to the governor's desk. Lawmakers like Democrat Aaron Zwiener hopes that this time around it gets through.
We have a responsibility to try and save lives. Just this year in my district, there have been 6 fentanyl poisonings in Hays County, and 4 of those resulted in deaths. Those are 4 people who should be with us today.
Online now on KXAN.com, we're going to talk with families who lost loved ones to fentanyl. And when searching for fentanyl crisis, all you got to do is search for fentanyl crisis, and you'll be able to hear what those families have to say about the drug and what it did to their family.
Adding some depth on this, there's a law in place to protect people seeking help for someone who is overdosing. It's called the Good Samaritan Law. Protects some people from getting in trouble if they call 911 and have a small amount of illegal, drugs or drug paraphernalia on them, but only those without a previous drug offense and people who have not called 911 for medical assistance in the past 18 months.
General Motors wants certain heavy-duty pickup truck owners to make sure that the truck's gate is closed and latched before driving. That's after reports of concerns of tailgates unexpectedly opening. Now, this is a recall that affects certain 2024 Chevy Silverado, GMC Sierra 2500 and 3500 trucks. Only trucks with a manual gate and power lock and release are impacted by this one. Now, the automaker says that water can get into the electronic gate releases switches, causing the gates to unlatch. GM is going to notify owners starting next month about the issue and talk about some of the repairs.
And back here locally, a popular South Austin climbing gym is set to close at the end of this year.
Yeah, but it's whether the landlord or the Crux Climbing Center owns the climbing walls inside the gym. That's up for debate. Crux claims that the walls are trade fixtures, meaning they get to take them when they move. The building landlord said, nope, that's wrong. Experts say these types of disputes happen more often than you may think.
Trade fixtures, for example, would be like the sign of the business that is renting out front, or like specific shelving that they need, something that is easily removable and necessary for their business.
Now, Crux told KXAN that it is disputing all those allegations that were made against them. Advanced technology is making it quicker for some passengers to get through security at Austin's airport. Clear, that's a company focused on identity verification, is debuting its new facial recognition system they call NVPODs. It's eliminating fingerprinting or eye scanning through the use of a wide-angle camera using Clear's next-gen identity program. Company leaders say that it's designed to be 5 times faster. Clear Plus customers will have access to the expedited verification process. The technology has already rolled out in several other airports across the U.S., including right here in Austin. It's expected to be at every airport in Clear's network by the year 2025.
This is KXAN Sports, brought to you by Thomas J. Henry.
Good morning, all, and happy Wednesday. With a win last weekend, Texas football didn't just fuel their fans to go ballistic on all social media platforms that I've seen. It's been pretty crazy. They also effectively guaranteed their spot in the inaugural 12-team college football playoff. And a night ago, Texas moves up to number 2 overall in the rankings because previous number 2 Ohio State lost, embarrassing loss for the Buckeyes to Michigan. So Texas, again, the highest-ranked SEC team they remain in the number 2 slot. If they win the SEC championship game against Georgia, they will get a bye in the first round of the playoffs. Well, these are books. The saying I wanted to reference here is turning the page, hence books. That's about as close to sports as we're going to get with library things here. Texas, according to their coach, good at turning the page. Last 3 weeks, let's think about them for the Longhorns. Really been an emotional 3 weeks. Go on the road, rivalry game against Arkansas. They win that one with some late heroics from the defensive side of the ball. Then they come home for Senior Day. The emotions of that clear. Then they go on the road, talk about a rivalry game, the rivalry of all rivalries against Texas A&M, and a big couple defensive stops to end it there. So they're going to need to once again turn the page Saturday, heading to Atlanta.
Time and time again, I see teams lose a game and then they get beat again the next week because they're still kind of feeling sorry for themselves from that week before. And I think the one thing about this team, their ability to get recentered, refocused on the task at hand has been very impressive for 2 years now.
It started with a few weeks ago when he's preaching to us that, we were going to, go on the heater this part of the season. So it just, us trusting in him.
Just coming in with your head down, putting in the work, getting your body back, just focusing on the task that's at hand, just never being too up or being too down.
And Texas and Georgia in action Saturday from Atlanta at 3 p.m. So at 2 p.m., the official pregame show of Texas football's Texas Game Day. You can watch it Saturday at 2 on KBVO. Jonathan Thomas will host along with Texas legends Dan Neal and Alex Okafor. That's it for sports. We'll send it back over to you.
Alrighty, people in one Central Texas city can do more with their water, but find out why they should still conserve it. If you were listening on the KXAN Today podcast, thank you so much for joining us. We hope you join us for that story on air and so many more on our website, KXAN.com.